This is day 2 of our transformations unit. Today we're going to talk about reflections, which you would sometimes call maybe flips. So a reflection is just one of the 4 other ones that we are going to talk about. So reflections, some kids call them flips. We mainly do reflections over 2 directions. We usually go over the x-axis or horizontally, and then we go over the y-axis or vertically. Those are not the only ones. We can do reflections over lots of things. These are usually just the 2 that we focus on. If you have an x-axis reflection, like you're flipping right over that line, you're taking that shape and flipping it right over. The only thing that changes is your y value. So instead of being up high, you would be down low. The x's don't change at all, like you still went over to get there, but instead of going up, you went down. So your rule, the only thing that changes is the y's. And again, this is when you do an x-axis reflection. If we do it, let's just say up here, if we were to flip it over this line, you wouldn't be able to use this rule. So this just works when we're doing an x-axis. Same with a y-axis reflection. When you flip them, all you're really flipping are the x values. So instead of going over and then up, you're going to the left and then up. So up the same amount, the ups don't change, but instead of going to the right or to the left, you're just going to do the opposite of x. So most of the time for kids, it's easy for them to see the reflection, like how to do it. Sometimes it's just harder to write out the rules that we were just doing in order to make that happen. So to reflect this over the x-axis, here's the x-axis. I like to draw that in a little darker when I'm doing a reflection so I remember what I'm reflecting over. And every point I can find, I'm just going to make it do that same thing but over the line. So this one starts right on the line. There's nothing to flip about that. This next point that's easy to work with is that one. And instead of going up 1, I'm just going to go down 1. So whatever distance I was away from the line I'm flipping over, I have to maintain that distance. This one goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to go 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one was up 1, so this will be down 1. And then we're meeting back right there. So now I have just flipped that over the x-axis. We're going to do a couple of pictures here. One where we're going to flip over, or we're going to do a translation, sorry, and then we're going to flip it over the x-axis. So we're going to graph this guy first. So I've got 0, 2. That's my F. I'll put it over here. G is at 2, 3. H is at 3, 3. And J is at 0, negative 2. So J is way down here. So I'm going to graph that. Tough to see that vertical line because it's right on top of the axis. This one right here. And then we're just going to move it left 3 up 1. So a little review of the previous lesson. So 1, 2, 3 up 1. That's my new F. 1, 2, 3 up 1. That's my new G. And when we were doing these translations in the previous lesson, we weren't really concerned about whether or not I went over this axis or any axis for that matter. You just moved them over whatever it said to do. So moved this one over 3 and then up 1. We're going to do the same thing except we're going to do a reflection this time and we're going to do it over the line x equals 1. So that's a new idea. So let's put F back on there. F is at 0, 2. G is at 2, 3. H is at 3, 3. And J is at 0, negative 2. So there's that picture again. And now we're going to reflect it over the line x equals 1. Let me get another color here. So this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. And if I want to go over the line y equals 1, what's a little tricky is, x equals 1, you're going through the x-axis at 1. So this is the line that we're going to flip this shape over. So anything that's on this side of the line has to get flipped over here, and anything on this side of the line has to get flipped over there. So imagine that you have kind of your finger on this shape, and now you're just going to spin it. And so all of this stuff's going to come over here, and all of that's going to go over there. So again, however far away I am, this point is 1 away from the blue line. It just has to be 1 away on the other side. So this will be my new J. From this line, F was 1 to the left, so now F is going to be 1 to the right. G was 1 to the right, so now it's going to be 1 to the left. H was 2 to the right, so now we're going to be 2 to the left. And now I'm just going to connect them And there is my new shape flipped over this line. So if you can imagine flipping the blue to black or flipping the black into blue. Reflections are they can be tricky when we're flipping over something besides the x-axis or y-axis, or if I have to flip and part of my picture is already on the line, that can get a little confusing. They're a little bit easier when your whole shape is above or below the line you're going to flip. It's a little bit easier to see how that's going to work out.